Hello, welcome to your Skyhawks Scoreboard update. My name is Matthew Roy, alongside Gabrielle Silva. We are going to talk about all your FLC athletics for this week. Gabby, what do we have to start off with?
So basketball teams started their season this weekend with 2 exhibition games. The women's team traveled to Albuquerque to play University of New Mexico. It was a D1, D2 game, and it ended the way we might have expected. Skyhawks lost 101-48. But on the other hand, the men's team traveled to northern New Mexico in a game with 60 fouls, but they came home with the victory, 88-75. Brandon Wilson scored 15 points and had 9 rebounds, and Rasmus Bach had 25 points on his own.
Good job, guys. Next up for the men's basketball team, they're playing West Texas A&M on Friday away, and they're playing Eastern New Mexico home on Saturday. And for the women, they're going to Portales, New Mexico for a tournament this weekend. On to the football game. Gabby, what do we have for that one?
Yeah, so on Saturday, the football team took on New Mexico Highlands University. It was cold and rainy, but Bo Coleman threw about 6 passes for the Skyhawks, but wrapped up more than 450 yards. The FLC blew out the New Mexico Highlands Cowboys.
Yeah, we did.
52-7.
Yeah, I mean, Drake Griffin, hats off to him. He set the single-season rushing record for FLC, and he now holds that record. He's 200 yards behind Austin Eckler of Western State for the year in the RMAC. But it was just a fantastic effort by the offensive line of FLC and by Drake Griffin. Also, this game put FLC into 6th place in the entire nation in rushing. And we just dominated basically from start to finish. Offensive line, defensive line, both trenches really just destroyed New Mexico Highlands. And moving on to volleyball. Volleyball lost both of their games this weekend to Colorado Mines and Colorado Christian, both in straight sets, 0-3. Sadly, they weren't able to pull out any victories in those games, and it keeps up their 4-game losing streak. Bailey Longacre was the standout, though, freshman. And she had 9 kills in each game, and Kendra Swackenberg was the leading setter for the Skyhawks, but it just wasn't enough to pull off the victories there. A quick shout-out to the 3 seniors on the volleyball team. Ali Delamicos, Delaney Scanlon, Nicole Williams, all played key roles in the Skyhawks games this year. It's not the best year for them, but they played really hard. This team's really young. But Ali finished with our 3rd on the all FLC digs list of all time. So congratulations, ladies. It was a fantastic career.
Yeah, the Mines game was really close throughout all of Saturday night. The Skyhawks got within 1 point of winning that second set, but unfortunately allowed Mines to come back and take the win. But I think that if that game Saturday night is any representation of the future for this team, there's going to be some great things to see from this really young Fort Lewis team.
Yeah, that's for sure. They competed their butts off. They never quit, and there was always a smile on their face, even though they might have been losing. I mean, they got a lot of heart in that team, and it's going to be good for a couple years to come.
Yeah, for sure. Fort Lewis College's cross-country team finished up their season at the NCAA South Central Regional Conference competition this weekend. The women's finished 7th overall, led by Becca Bramley and Aaron Renner, and the men came in 9th. Garrett Sapikoff and Hosava Kretzman finished 30th and 31st for the men's cross-country team.
7th and 9th is representative finish, so great job to the FLC cross-country team. On to FLC soccer. Both the men's and women's seasons came to an end this week, sadly. Both teams lost respectively 1-0 and 4-1 in their first-round playoff matchup. The men lost 1-0 to Colorado Springs. They led the game in shots and tied UCCS in shots on goal, but sadly they weren't able to save that last goal. On the women's side, the game was not that close. It was 4-1. CSU Pueblo scored early, 2-0, and just didn't look back. And they ended up outshooting and outplaying the Skyhawks as a whole and won that game 4-1 total.
Yeah, this was the first year for Coach Oberholzer for the men's team, so I think we saw him make a lot of strides to really transition this team into a new system with a new coach. On the women's side, it was sort of a surprising year. I think a lot of people thought that they would go much further, but I think that there's a lot of optimism for next season.
Yeah, kind of like with the volleyball team. They're a pretty young team also. They didn't have that many seniors. So this should be good for a couple years to come.
Our players of the week are Drake Griffin for football. Like Matt mentioned, he is now the leading
Set the single-season rushing record
for Fort Lewis College. And for the women, the honors go to volleyball's Bailey Longacre for her performance this past weekend, and as well as Becca Bramley, who earned all regional honors at the NCAA South Central Regional Meet.
For all of your Skyhawks sports info, visit GoSkyhawks.com. Our play of the week is the team touchdown for New Mexico Highlands when Bo Coleman ran to the 9 and the offensive line just basically carried him the rest of the way. So enjoy. See you next week.
Coleman calls for the snap. Spins, hands, PJ. Nope, he keeps it. Coleman rushing up to the 10. Stutter steps to the 15, spins to the 5, still on his feet. At the 4, they still don't have him down. He's into the end zone for a touchdown.
That was
a rugby scrum. Unbelievable.
There's at least 18 players in that pile.
32-yard scamper. Holy smokes.